Okay.
All right, we're recording, Mary Beth. Yay. Hello, warriors. Welcome. We are here to talk clutter or decluttering with decluttering expert Mary Beth. I called you the clutter expert earlier today, and I was like, no, she's
No, no,
not that.
the declutter queen.
Exactly. Mary Beth has a company called SimplifyMe. We brought her on today to help us all with our clutter challenge. How did you get into doing what you're doing, Mary Beth?
It's sort of like organically. I love organizing. I love things in their place. And I have a mother who is a rooter, and she's never met a piece of paper she doesn't like.
Uh,
And so growing up, she kept a very clean house, very clean, but there were always piles of magazines and papers. And, she just had a hard time getting rid of stuff. And as we've gotten older and she now has dementia, she cannot like process like how to get rid of things. And
mm,
so I was home a couple months ago trying to help her go through things and then helping my sister go through things, and just found so much joy in doing it and helping them sort of create a system that would work for them, that I decided to start doing it as a full-time job.
Yay! Oh, I'm so excited because it's so needed in my line of business. When we're working with the thought model, it is just, the things that we're thinking about can create stress in our system, in our actual emotional system. And if we're constantly thinking about that pile of papers, or the pile of papers that you're thinking the thought like, oh my God, I have to do something with that, or I have to read through those magazines, or there are all these different, whatever it is, it adds stress. And so I really appreciate that you are now in this business, because it is very much needed. One thing you brought up that is so interesting to me is the sort of the importance of noticing organizing and decluttering, which I have been taught to view as two different things. And sort of the idea that you touched on of the decluttering, which is what we're doing now in our challenge, in terms of um, getting rid of stuff, like getting rid of the excess, getting rid of, if we have 15 pens, do we need 15 pens? Do you need this whole pile of paper? Do you need 14 of those magazines? How many cookbooks on breakfast do you need? Sort of decluttering and looking at that as one thing. And then the second thing, the organizing. And what I see you as magical with both, but also the organizing in terms of everything, then having a place, like you have a place as to where you put the magazines that you're going to read, or where you put the library books that you're going to return to the library, or that kind of stuff. But I think what I see clients having challenges with is they go to organize, get overwhelmed because there's too much to organize, and then they just like basically fall on their back and are like, give up and go buy another box or storage container, and then we have all this clutter. So
Yeah.
today I am thrilled to have you here to help us with the decluttering. I guess I just wanted to make that differentiate between decluttering and organizing so that people can really be clear as to what they're doing. Like taking some of their extra stuff and putting it in a nice pretty box is not what we're doing in this challenge. We're trying to get rid of things.
Right.
And then the next step, maybe we can have Mary Beth on the next time to talk about the organizing and having everything have its place.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
For sure. So how do you help people sort of start that process of going through, like take the kitchen, and if they have, all their utensils and all their devices, and I don't even know if that's what they're called, appliances might be a better word. How do you get them to start going through and decluttering and making the decision as to what to keep and what to get rid of?
Well, you have to look at it in terms of the space and how much space they have, because
Mm,
everybody is confined by a different amount of space. And also, just because you have space doesn't necessarily mean you have to fill every single thing that you have. So what I do is I go through things like really systematically in terms of, first of all, are things in places that make sense?
mm,
So you don't want to put your food items and that stuff in the part of your kitchen by your dishwasher. Like, you
mm,
want to have your plates and your drawers and your silverware right next to your dishwasher. Like, you want to make things flow really easily in your kitchen so that you can fully take advantage of like the space you have, whether it's a lot of space or a little bit of space. You don't want to be cleaning out your dishwasher and having to walk all the way around your island to another drawer to put your dishes away. That's just not efficient. So looking at the space and seeing, first of all, do things make sense where they are?
Mm-hmm.
And second, do we need everything that we have? So I have, over the last probably 6 months to a year, gone through my kitchen very systematically and pared it down to what do we really need? Because I have 2 children. One is in college, one is still at home. Things like coffee mugs. I'll use that as an example. I am the only person in my house who drinks coffee. My son has started drinking tea, so he will have a glass of tea maybe every other day or so, and I have coffee or tea every day. So I went in my cabinet and I had like 30 coffee mugs.
Oh my gosh, right. Yeah.
And a lot of them I had that, I mean, I've literally had them. I've lived on my own now. I'm 55 for 32 years.
Yeah.
Do I need 35 coffee mugs, including mugs that I got like at the dentist or at some like raffle that I just stuck in the cupboard? Like, do I actually need this item?
No, you don't.
And the answer is no, I don't. So when you start like looking, you have to kind of go, and I don't like to overwhelm people because it can be daunting.
Yeah.
So I just say, let's start with like one thing. Let's start with like the coffee or the cupboard with the glassware, because everybody usually has one cupboard with glassware. Let's start with that. Or let's start with like the baker's rack with all of our food. Let's start and go there. And then once you get one area decluttered and then organized, then you move on to the next cabinet. So you don't want to tear apart your entire kitchen.
Right. Yeah. That's that, like, I mean, that is that Marie Kondo on TV, which she has you like take everything out and look at it. But I very much, unless you're on a TV show and they're paying you to be on it, I very much appreciate that it's like, let's just start, because otherwise we do get overwhelmed. And then we're like, oh my God, okay, but I need to feed my family.
And I just did it with like my Tupperware drawer. Like I have a drawer with all of my like, Tupperware, whatever, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, all that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like overflowing. And then my lid drawer overflowing. And my son was getting ready to go back to college into an apartment, and I was in charge of like the Gladware, part of the roommate thing. So instead of going out and buying a bunch of Gladware, I just went through my stuff and matched up pieces and lids and found it all. And then that is what I sent him off to college with. And now I look in my drawer and everything that is in there, I use.
Oh, I love that. So that's the de-stressing. That's what I love about decluttering, and like the just a very real feeling of opening the drawer, not having it overflowing, not having to search for the lid, and having options there. I love that.
Because how many times have you opened a drawer and you've then gone in and then you've just gotten like, you can't find what you want, and then you shove it in and then you just shove it shut and you're like, I can't find that thing. And you get super frustrated.
Yeah. So can we go back to the coffee mugs for a second? Because I love that example. So say we have 30 coffee mugs. I think it's pretty easy for us to say, okay, we're going to get rid of the one that we got from a raffle or a dental or, with the dentist or whatever. But how about those ones that it's like, oh, my grandma gave this to me, or my neighbor gave this to me, and what if she comes over and asks for tea and I don't have that mug? What do we do then?
Well, I'll address grandma first. It depends on how special it is to you and how sentimental it is. If it's a mug that your grandmother gave you that you use for your tea every night, keep it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that point. Like if you're using it.
Yeah, and use it. Don't shove it in the back of your cabinet because you're afraid you might break it. Like if you have it and you love it, use it. But if it's something that your neighbor gave you, and you're afraid they might come over for a cup of coffee and you won't have that mug, your neighbor probably forgot they gave it to you.
I was going to say, if I'm the neighbor, I wouldn't remember that I gave it to you. So get rid of it.
B, I am not opposed to white lies. Oh my gosh, it broke.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Oh, where's that cute mug I gave you? Oh, my stupid kid, like throwing the football in the
Poor kid.
kitchen and it broke.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to know that it is at the Goodwill. I do that with
Yeah.
my mom all the time.
Oh,
She
I
buys
love that idea.
things to give to my sister and I, and we don't need it.
Yeah.
So we take it from her because we want to get it out of her home.
Right.
And then we just go and turn it around and take it to
Yeah.
retail or whatever. And if she asks how we like it, I love it.
Yeah. So you touched on a couple important points that I want to go back to. If you're using it and loving it, great. Hold on to it.
Heck
And
yeah.
if you're holding on to it out of guilt, then get rid of it and know that you can say something like that. Oh, it broke, or oh, that lamp it broke, or oh, I wasn't, and I guess the third point is that they probably don't even remember. That's
Right.
also, that applies to the closet. I've had that before where clients are like, but my aunt gave this to me. I'm like, your aunt has no idea, that she has no memory that she gave you those pair of ugly socks or that sweater, or
And how often
get
do
rid
you
of it.
see your aunt too?
Yeah, exactly.
And do you actually wear that article of clothing? And would you wear it if you went to see your aunt?
Hmm.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably
So
not.
that's very helpful. One of the things that I deal with coaching is it's something I call decision fatigue. And if we're it's sort of like we wake up with a certain amount of decisions. I think of them as like 100 marbles. And so if you have 100 decisions and 100 marbles in your hand that you can make, it's paying attention to where you're putting those marbles during the day. And if you're every time, say you go for a cup of coffee and you have to think through, oh, I don't want that mug, I don't want that mug, that's 6 marbles. Like, do you really want to spend 60 of your decision making power on that, let alone any of your decision making power? So looking at that, sort of, we get fatigued as we make decisions. So then later in the afternoon at 4, when you're like, should I have an apple or eat that huge master size Snickers bar? You're like, oh, well, I use all my decisions on the mug, so I'm gonna have the Snickers.
I'm done with decisions.
I know, but it's interesting to me how clutter and the decisions that we make in our life really do overflow. I know that Obama always he had one outfit that he wore when he was in DC, in town, like as a president, and then he had one that he was traveling with. It wasn't this, but he had, like, let's say, like a brown suit and then a blue suit, or so that he knew he wasn't like, he didn't go into his closet every day and go like, oh my God, okay, do I wear the gray coat with, and he's like, no, this is my at home one. And I'm sure he wasn't like, okay, which of my 30 mugs? Because he had bigger decisions to make, as do all of us. So I love that point.
Yeah.
Moving on to the bedroom, do you have any tips or tricks on how to streamline or declutter our bedrooms?
I feel like your bedroom needs to be like a sanctuary, kind of like, and not. I'm not talking about like, oh, woo woo, candles and romance and all of that nonsense. But if you have a lot of like clothes like laying around on the floor, or if you have a elliptical in the corner that is a clothes hanger, if you have old sheets like wandering around, if you have a stack of books on your nightstand that you're not reading, that you are your goal books that you want to read but you're not reading them, all of that stuff creates chaos in your mind.
Oh my gosh,
And you're in
totally.
your room where you want to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to bed and the thing that is there is like overwhelming you because there's just so much stuff, you're not going to have a restful night of sleep, no matter what you try to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to start like pairing out, like what you need in your bedroom is your bed, a couple nightstands, a couple lamps, you need a dresser,
Some
and
Sensation Young Living oil.
sensation oil. You need your diffusers on both nightstands, one for
I'm
you.
just thinking, right.
And that's about it. Like, you don't
Mhm.
really need much more than that. And if you have overflow coming, like seeping out of closets, or like I have right now, we have this chest at the end of our bed that was my father-in-law's, and it has like blankets and stuff that were sort of family heirlooms. And right now on top of that chest is like my yoga stuff. So yoga mat, yoga blocks, a blanket. And it's just been there because that's kind of where I do yoga. But I am now at the point where like I'm tired of seeing that when I go in there. So I'm going to clear out a blanket in the chest
Oh, that's
so I can
perfect.
put my yoga stuff inside it, so it's not sitting out all the time.
Yeah.
I know it's there. I can use it. I can easily pull it out, but I don't have to look at it every day.
Which is another great example. It's like, how many blanket heirlooms do you need? You know, you have 4 people in your family, maybe tops you need 4. How many are you using? How many are you loving? And then to have that place
Yeah.
for the yoga, it like clears out room and energy for you. I also want to address, you know, when you're talking about you have all this stuff in your room and it's hard to then fall into a deep sleep. What I also imagine as a coach, and I can like hear my clients telling me this, is that they're like, oh, you know, I went up to bed to go to bed at 10, but then I saw this stack of magazines I've said, you know, I should do. So they're shooting on themselves, or this stack of, and it's like they get distracted from their focus of sleep as one of our wellness pillars. And they're like, oh, instead I'm going to put away some of the clothes, or I'm going to put away all. So it could work both ways. Either you have the guilt of it all sitting there and you're not doing it, or it distracts you from getting the sleep that you need and the self-care. So to try to start moving through that.
Yeah. Like last night, my husband was stress folding laundry.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like he woke up, he couldn't go back to sleep. We're all a little bit stressed out right now. And I just heard him in the laundry room, which is right next to our bedroom. And he came back in our room. Next thing I know, he's like folding laundry on the bed.
You're like, honey, thank you. And yeah. So again, and then when we're looking at the things in our closet, any tips or tricks there to sort of wean out the extra stuff?
So many tips.
Yeah.
So I cleaned out I've done a lot of closet renovation over the last year and a half. Kind of when Marie Kondo came out and, you know, the whole sparking joy, whatever. I had bridesmaid dresses in my closet from when I was like 20.
Oh, wow. Can you pause and just touch on the sparking joy in case anyone doesn't know?
Oh, so Marie Kondo has a philosophy. She wrote a book called the Magical Art of Tidying Up or something like that. And her thing is that when you go into any space of yours and you are looking to get rid of things, you look at each thing, like you look at your phone and you say, does this bring me joy? And if it brings you joy and you use it, you can keep it. If you look at it and it does not bring you joy, out it goes. So I was telling a friend of mine that
so the bridesmaid dresses on
that I had, you know, was talking about I had a lot of bridesmaid dresses, a lot, and I kept them all.
Wow.
And when we moved, we renovated our house, and I have a pretty nice sized walk-in closet, and so I had them all hanging there. And one of my girlfriends.
Oh my God, you even had room to hang them. Wow.
Yeah, all hang up. And a friend came over and she's like, we're gonna go through your closet. And she helped me sort of develop my system for how I now help other people. But we went through all of these articles of clothing, and some of them were like, I had a really hard time because of the sentiment behind them. Like, but I wore this dress in like Sandy's wedding and I was a size 9 then. And look at this tiny dress and look how little I was. And I think maybe one day I'll fit my right leg in that. And it'll be exciting. And what I didn't realize in saving all of these things from my past that I thought were evoking like good memories, they were actually causing me to feel really bad about myself because I was going in my closet every day and I had all of these clothes that didn't fit and that were no longer my size. And I was looking at them every time I was trying to get dressed and I was having to go through things and to find what fit. But as I was going through things to try to find what fit, all I'm finding is things that are too small. So then I'm feeling like
using all your marbles, Mary Beth.
Yeah. So I'm feeling like crap about myself. So I'm like, it was just this like constant cycle of like of going in there and just not and being like, first of all, overwhelmed because there was just so much stuff. And I finally started going through things with my friend Jeannie, and I pulled out one dress that was this beautiful Tahari, like gray dress. I wore it in my friend Andrea's wedding. And then I wore it the night John and I got engaged. Like there was a ton of sentimental value in this dress. And I like loved it. Like it was so pretty. I had all these like things in my mind about what this dress was. And so we got to that dress and she's like, what about this? And I was like, oh, I have to keep that. Like John and I got engaged in that dress. Like I have to keep that dress. She's like, why do you have to keep a dress you got engaged in? Don't you have pictures? And I was like, yeah, but it's the dress I got engaged in. Like, I have to keep that. And she's like, no, you don't. And
You
I was
can
like, but
John.
right. I said, but I love it. I love that dress. And I will wear that dress when I get to be that size again. And he's
Oh
like,
yeah.
Mary Beth, I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you a hard truth. This dress is no longer in style.
Yeah.
Like
Oh my God, good
you
point.
have in your mind that
Mm,
this is like this all important, beautiful, special, wonderful
mm.
Tahari dress that you will wear again. But even if you get to that size again, this dress is not in style
Your
anymore.
friends are gonna be like, go get changed. Like, what are you
Right.
wearing?
Right.
It's not the 80s.
So that
Right.
that moment is what gave me this like clarity that, and she said, and then give yourself permission when you get to that size where that dress would have fit to actually go buy a
Yeah.
stylish dress
A beautiful
for whatever event you might have that you would need to wear that dress.
anniversary. Your
Yeah,
anniversary. I love that point. I've addressed that before when people are saving things for a special day. They're like, maybe I'll wear this, whether it fits or not. And it's that like, okay, but when have you, like, if you haven't worn it in the last year, get rid of it. Because if you are invited to that special event, you will probably go out and buy something new.
right,
But
right.
if you're
Except for this
wearing it,
year because no one went anywhere.
right, that is true.
But but
Yeah.
yeah, but then so we got pared down, got rid of a lot of stuff, and then just this week I went through and did another huge edit of my closet and
Wow.
organization, and it just I go in there and I feel like peaceful, like I actually want to like stand in my closet and get dressed because
Mhm.
I know whatever I've picked to wear, it's gonna fit.
Yeah. Oh, that feels so
You know,
freeing.
I know that I
Yeah.
don't have to like pull something down and put it on and be like, oh, son of a,
Yeah.
you know.
Right. Well, and that is such a great, I mean, it's such a thing that we do as women and just a confidence buster first thing, you try whatever on and it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
But then also the things that do fit, to know that we don't need to keep 8 white t-shirts. I have a lot of white t-shirts or, how many pairs of jeans do you really wear? So it is, how do you start paring down those kind of things?
It kind of just depends on like what for me I do it by do they're like different kinds, so like I have a stack of like capri pants and I don't
Mhm.
consider my capris my jeans.
That's
And
true.
then I have jeans, and I have my jeans with the ripped legs, and I have the skinny black jeans and the skinny blue jeans and the other just like comfy go to a hockey game jeans. Like I sort of have categories, and I
But
don't
you have 5 pairs of skinny black jeans?
no one.
Okay, so that's a good point. So
One. I have
I
one
think,
pair of
okay,
each kind. So
like
I
I
don't
have a pair
have
of white capri jeans and a pair of blue capri jeans, but I don't have 3 pairs. So it is to look at those things that we have. And then what usually happens is if we have 5 pairs of skinny black jeans, we always pick the same one or maybe two. But I guess what I want to offer to people is to just start getting rid of something. That's why the clutter challenge is only 10 things a day. And I know sometimes that can seem like a big amount, but if if you go in your mug closet and mug cabinet and you take out 6 of the 30, that is progress. And you go into your jeans and you take out 1 of the black skinny jeans and 1 of the white t-shirts, like to just be looking at these small moves as progress, which is
yeah,
really,
and just and looking at things that I went in my closet and I was able to pull out. I think I probably have like 30 items of clothing that I pulled out the other day.
wow.
And it was just things that like my husband likes to buy me t-shirts every time he goes somewhere,
Oh,
even though like I hate t-shirt, like I only wear v-neck t-shirts right now or like women's cut shirts because I hate like feel like I'm
yeah.
choking in a regular shirt. So I went through and I had like 4 t-shirts that he had bought and I was like, I'm not ever going to wear these.
Hmm.
So I pulled them out and just threw them in a box. And then I had a fun run shirt from a fun run, a shirt we got in Alabama from the Alabama Credit Union at
Hmm.
like orientation. Like I'm never
Yeah,
wearing those. But
right.
I just when I got them, oh maybe I'll wear it to like paint the house.
Right. Oh my God, I do that. I'm
I
like, maybe
hired
I'll wear
someone
this.
to
I'm
paint
like,
the house.
no,
I'm
you
not gonna
won't.
paint the
Right.
house.
No.
So so I was
Yeah.
able to like pull out, a lot of stuff. And
Yeah.
that felt good to get that all sort of,
Well, and I love that. And you bring like that is sometimes we avoid those conversations, but it's also this like, hey, John, next time you go somewhere, can you not bring me a shirt, back? But then also for ourselves, if we're the ones bringing the clothes in, I like having a rule that if I'm going to put something new in my closet, I have to take something out. I do not have a big walk-in, but I still am able to have I don't switch between seasons. I have all my stuff in there, like my, and just because I don't wear that many different things when it comes down to it. And to
Right.
know that if I'm bringing something new in, then it has to spark that joy for me. And then I need to get rid of something else, which helps me also when I'm shopping to sort of pause before just buying another white t-shirt.
Yeah. And another really good trick too is when you're in your closet, take all of your clothes that are hanging. So all your clothes on hangers, and take your hangers and turn them around backwards. Okay, so they're not like where you could just pull them off. They're backwards. Every
Okay.
time you wear an article of clothing in your closet, take the hanger and turn it the right way. And then at the end of 6 months,
Oh, warriors, we're doing this. That's so fun.
and see what have I worn, what haven't I worn.
Oh
Because
my
I
gosh.
guarantee you, like I wear this stupid Alabama t-shirt like
Yeah.
at least once a week.
Oh yeah.
It's comfortable. It's a
Oh yeah.
V-neck.
I'm like, I wear this like every wash. What about my other? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's such a
So
great.
you
Oh,
will
I'm
see
doing that. There, that.
and
Yeah.
I don't recommend like clearing out after 6 months just because of the weather, like it's different
Right.
seasons. But if
Yeah.
you did it today, if you turned everything around today, and then in 1 year, like put a thing on your calendar for a
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
what did I do for the last year in my closet? And
Yeah.
how many things are still backwards?
Right.
I think you'll be like
I
astounded.
love that. Oh, I love that, especially for pants. I'm going to do that because my pants are on a hanger, so I'll turn them. Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. I also love, and I guess in drawers, it's important to be able to see what we have, because I know that just reminded me of like exercise pants, because I do exercise every day, and then I have and recently I went through my exercise pants and I was like, I don't wait 4 weeks to do the laundry. I do it at least once a week, usually more than that. So I'm really only using like at most 7 pairs of those pants. And so I just went through and got rid of the ones that I'm really not wearing because they don't. But now what I did is I have them all so they're rolled, and I can see all my little pants in there, which is helpful also.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah, oh, I love that. What
yeah.
do you do what do you say to the woman who's like, oh, maybe instead of getting rid of that, I'll sell it, or maybe instead of getting rid of that, I'll fix it?
It depends on the piece of clothing and what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a t-shirt, a random like, pair of, jeans from Target, just take it to the thrift store. Do not,
Someone else will love it.
and I actually recommend, I don't necessarily recommend taking it to a thrift store, but like here in Northern Virginia, there are a couple of different places that you can take it where they are actual clothes closets. And if they're clothing that is in good shape, there's a church in Arlington that runs one. And then there's also a group in Vienna that runs one. And they actually have a store, and they let folks that can't afford to buy clothes, they come in and have a clothes closet, and they literally can shop in the store for the clothes and just take them for free.
Oh, I'm going to ask for you to those links so we can.
Yeah, so it's great. And there's also a place in Arlington for just kids clothes too, like from babies all the way up to high schoolers, where you can donate it and then they can come in and shop, and they don't have to buy it. Like they don't have to go to the Goodwill or the wherever to buy it.
Oh,
the only time I recommend doing it at those places is if you have a lot of stuff and you can call like Lupus or whoever, and they'll just come pick it up on your porch. Like you can just put it on your porch and poof, they'll take it. In terms of selling things, there has to be something about it that is sellable. So I recommend using like Poshmark or Mercari. You can use eBay, but it's work. And sometimes your investment for your time, you're not going to see a huge return. So right now I have a closet on Poshmark with probably like 50 things from some, not really very many of my clothes, but a lot of like my kids' clothes, a lot of Vineyard Vines, a lot of just random, stuff, but stuff that was not cheap.
It has value.
It has value. So I will do that. Like I just sold a North Carolina basketball jersey, kids youth basketball jersey for like $10.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
On Poshmark. So if you can do that, if you have the time and you don't mind sitting and loading all this stuff in and doing that, then go for it.
So here's what I'm going to tell my little warrior ladies, that you need to set a deadline. So you can give yourself 1 week. So maybe put that bag downstairs and say, these are the things, or since we're doing this challenge, at the end of the challenge, you can say, these are the things I'm going to sell. And then give yourself a week after that. You need some deadline. And if you haven't done it by then you need to, like, you could even call to get the lupus pickup. So you know that whatever you've not sold, you have that dead stop there. That's like, no, you got to get this stuff out of the house. Because otherwise, if you're like me, you'll have that bag down there and you're like, oh yeah, I'll sell this someday, or I'll sew this someday. No, I will not.
Nobody's sewing anything anymore. Unless you're like Laura Ingalls Wilder. Like,
no, I know. Like, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
No. All right. This is hugely helpful. I thank you so much. We have a decluttering questionnaire that we came up with some of these questions you could just sort of have by your side when you're going through your closet and just asking yourself, would I buy this again? When's the last time I wore this? Am I holding, what do you do with things like if you're saying like, am I holding on to this because it cost a lot?
Well, why did you buy it in the first place? Why aren't you using it if it costs a lot?
Maybe an impulse buy.
Yeah. And are you ever going to use it? And
No.
and how long have you had it not using it?
You know what? It's like that wedding dress. Every time you go in and you see it in there, you feel guilt. So just get rid of it.
My wedding dress is hermetically sealed in a box in my attic.
I meant the bridesmaid dresses.
But my wedding dress, and I'm like, why did I do that? I have 2 boys. I mean,
okay.
I didn't
have. You know, the beauty of this is that my wedding dress is in my ex's closet, attic. That was one of the things that at some point we were having like some ridiculous, trivial, childish argument. And I was like, I want my wedding dress back. He's like, you will not get it back. And I was, because I think I read somewhere that you could have it turned into like ornaments or something. I don't even know, or donated somewhere. And he's like, you will not get it back. And so now I'm like, well, his attic has a little clutter in there. It's just so big. Anyhow,
but it's something that cost a lot of money. Like I had this jacket that I bought and I loved it, but when I bought it, it was like not really the right size. I never wore it. It was in my closet. I got it to go to Vegas, never wore it. It sat in my closet for like 6 years, 7 years. And I kept, every time I would go somewhere, I'd think, oh, maybe I'll wear that. And I'd put it on. I didn't like the way it looked. Like, so finally, I was just, I'm going to sell it. So I actually put it on Poshmark and it sold pretty quickly.
Like, that's awesome. Okay, so options, if it costs too much, you can try that strategy if you have a week to sell it, or just get rid of it and know that someone else, like one of those clothes closets, someone will adore it, or you give it to Lupus or Goodwill and they will get their money and you're hoping it's a win-win.
And the way you have to look at it too is if you bought it and it was expensive, like you already spent that money.
Yes.
If you spent that money, like I had spent that money like 5 to 8 years ago, that money is gone. No. That money is not, I'm not going to get that money back by wearing something or keeping it in my closet. It's not going to give me any more money.
No, live and learn. Don't buy it again. Right. That's one of the questions I like asking myself. Would I buy this again? And if the answer is no, then just get rid of it and work. That's a thought coach issue then of like getting over it. Okay. Do you need to feel guilt and beat yourself up for this? No, you can learn and move on.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Mary Beth, do you have a website that you can tell people to go to where we can put it in the?
Not yet. It is
not yet. Okay.
Built.
We will share this in the Facebook group, and there are a couple people that asked for it, more than a couple people that asked for it from the email. And then when you get that done, we will include your web, whatever I'm trying to say, address, so people can get in touch with you and get you out to help declutter, and then maybe possibly do the second stage of the organizing, because that's what we'll all be in need of. And
yes, that's the really fun part.
Yeah, I know.
The organizing.
Light up after it. Yay. Thank you, Mary Beth. This is awesome.
You are welcome. All right. So now I just hit the recording button. Oh, stop recording. There we go. All right.
Okay. And then when you close this meeting, it will convert as a whatever. It'll say like on your screen, converting video.
Okay.
And then it'll save to your desktop. And then.
Should I just post it in the Warrior group?
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can post that the way it shows up there, or I think you can. Or if I need to upload it to like YouTube or something. If it needs to be done that way, then